All right, good afternoon, traders. Today, August 17th, 2026. My name Coach Kerrigan, instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thanks for being here. Let's take a look at the markets today. Captured 7K. I had to use 50% of my account. We had one place right here where price was kind of waffling, and I felt like it had another move down, so I didn't want to give up on my move down, and I wound up having about 10,000, almost 9,000 of each on each side of the trade, looking for a breakout of either side. So, but one would have canceled out the other, as long as I didn't close it out too soon. But anyways, that's where I had that. And 2-minute chart, you can see we're breaking down. We're looking for VWAP, actually gap fill, which happens to be 772.52 right around there. So looking for a gap fill right there. So I closed these out, and of course now they're moving. Let's move this stuff out of the way, and let's take a look at the markets, see how we made profits today, and everything else. All right, so start on a 10-minute chart. Okay. Now Friday we had price move down and over to the right, so that's a bear flag. Price moved over to the right, gapped up this morning in the pre-markets. Okay, so a little gap up, and tried to break out from the consolidation from the gap up. Failed breakout. You can see the bears shot it down right away. So they couldn't break out and hold the higher ground. So that's a failed breakout. You get a failed breakout, you can see we're consolidating here. No sense in hanging on any longer. You might as well sell it. So what did we get? 10-minute downtrend right into the open. Okay, so we saw this. We're just looking for a continuation of that 10-minute downtrend. Now this right here, this happens to be the other favorite candle that I have. You can see the tall wick on the top, and then the solid red body coming down here to almost close near the underneath support. You can see this would have been support. You can see all the candles come to this area and bounce off it. You see it comes down here, bullish engulfing. Well, actually rips back to the trend line. Again, you can see price come underneath this, and then it gets kind of rallies back up. So all of this was support. So we broke through support. That would have been right there. Your my red erases green entry. So I took shorts. I got puts to go short all the way down here. So we had it didn't fall immediately, but it took it a while. It took about 4 hours of consolidation there over to the right, and then finally the meltdown happened. After the European session closed, we got the meltdown. Coming all the way down here, we have a gap fill at 772.52. Let me make sure that's right. 772.52. If they fail to fill gap, that will be a sign for the bulls. All right. If they do fill gap, that will be a sign for the bears. All right. So what I wanted to see was, on Friday, we did not make a lower low. We made a lower high, but we did not make a lower low. So that was interesting. Left me with a kind of a bullish bias. Of course, it left other traders with a bullish bias. As you can see, we gapped up. All right, but we tried the breakout, and we failed on the breakout. So now we came back down. And of course, now we finally made the lower low that should have been made probably on Friday. All right, now from there we're coming back down here. We have a big shoot up right through here, so we're coming all the way back down to the base. All right, back here to the base. This is the consolidation base right through here from the bull flag, from the rise from the 30th of July right there. Big rip right there, and then over to the right. So this is failing now. Looking for the bulls to come rescue price action. We'll see what happens, but we're still bullish up here. We're still up in quadrant 4 when I put the quad lines on it. But you can see getting the gap fill right now. Let me take some profits on this. Exit. Okay. All right, so here's 10-minute into the close. We got ourselves a 10-minute downtrend into the close. Okay, you can see the sticks and the 3 riding underneath the ADMA. The ADMA is pointed down. We got the picture of money. All right, that is the ADMA and the VWAP. The distance between the two of them, they're both slanted down. They're both sloped down. And you got the distance between the two is growing wider and wider and wider right there. So there's 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on the SPY on the 2-hour chart. We've got the sticks and the 3 riding underneath the 8. We have a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close on the SPY. On the daily chart, we'll put the quad lines on there. And let's pull this down, move this down. Okay, something's not working. We'll get it. That's in the way. All right, so you can see we're still at the top of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish. All right, we haven't made any lower lows, so we're still in an uptrend. All right, this was yesterday's message, noticing that the bears didn't make a lower low, so we didn't get that lower high, lower low combo occur on Friday, which was interesting. Left me with a bullish bias on Friday evening, but then, of course, opening up Sunday night, you can see we had the failed breakout to the upside, or maybe they just didn't let it consolidate long enough, but then we had the rollover. So there's SPY on the daily chart. We're still bullish and in an uptrend, top of quadrant 4. They are still planking up there. They are showing you a lot of strength up there by planking at the top of quadrant 4. You can see the origin of the rally starts back here at the beginning of April. We go up, consolidate, then we have a breakout. Now we're holding the higher ground. That's consolidation over prior consolidation. That's still a bullish bias right there. All right, I do want to recognize one thing that I shared with traders earlier. We have an unconventional triple top, all right, and you can see it right here. We've got a high here, and then a high here. So we've got the unconventional triple top going on, all right. So I don't know how far down they're going to melt it, but right now they're in a 10-minute downtrend on the SPY chart. Okay, back to the weekly chart. We're still bullish and in an uptrend. Nothing broken here. On the monthly chart, we're still bullish and in an uptrend. On the monthly chart, nothing broken there. Let's take a look at QQQ. On QQQ, on 10-minute chart, coming into the close. All right, you can see we've got 10-minute. We've got sticks in the 3 riding just on top of the 8 here. You could call it bearish consolidation or a little 10-minute downtrend. I'm gonna call it bearish consolidation. Not really a downtrend, not really an uptrend. Just gonna call it because they came down and they moved over to the right. So 10-minute bearish consolidation. On the 2-hour chart, we can see the sticks and the 3 are underneath the 8. We've got 2-hour downtrend, just a little bit of daylight. You really have to squint your eyes to see that daylight inside there. So we've got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. We're still up over that all-time high anchored VWAP on the Qs. Let's take a look at it on the daily chart. And on the daily chart, we made an outside day. It's a higher high. It's a lower low. We closed on top of a bullish trap, on top of the rising 17, on top of the all-time high anchored VWAP. Darn near the top, I'm going to call it the middle of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish. And we're still in an uptrend because we haven't made any lower lows. Okay, so you can see the origin of the rally here for QQQ. Starts back in April. Rallies up, goes over. has a little breakdown. Didn't really find any minor support here, just kind of off this little nugget right there and the midpoint, and rallied back up. So there's QQQ on the daily chart. We're still bullish and in an uptrend. Weekly chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Monthly chart, nothing broken here. Bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow and Russell 2000. So here's Diamond Dow. Diamond Dow, a little bit more melting going on today. Lower high, lower low, closed under a bullish trap over the rising 17 EMA in the middle of quadrant 4. We haven't made any lower lows, so we are still bullish and in an uptrend. We're not moving up. We are melting down and over to the right. Okay, so but we're still in an uptrend. It's a pullback in our uptrend. So Diamond Dow still, again, the origin of this rally starts back in April, all right? And then we have a breakout here at the end of July up into August, okay? So we're still in the middle of quadrant 4, so we're bullish, all right? And we haven't made any lower lows, so we're still in an uptrend. Let's take a look at IWM. IWM looks like they put in a new all-time high today. Okay, so that's a higher low, higher high, closed over a bullish trap. That's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. Hard not to make, hard not to be in an uptrend and bullish when you're making new all-time highs. So there's IWM, new all-time high on the daily chart. Let's take a look at FNGU. Lower high, lower low, closed under a bullish trap over the rising 17, over the all-time high anchored VWAP. In the bottom of quadrant 4, that's still bullish. We have not made any lower lows, so we're still bullish and in an uptrend. Nice bull flag up here. Kind of extended, though. Wondering what the bulls are waiting for to get fired up. Maybe it's time. Maybe they need to work some time out. I don't know. Just killing time up there. So FNGU, daily chart, bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at silver and gold. I heard silver had a good morning. Don't know how far they went. Higher low, higher high, closed over a bullish trap, over the 17. We're still in quadrant 2, so we're neutral. Top of quadrant 2, we're neutral and in an uptrend, all right? Because we got a high there. We made a higher high. Silver neutral and an uptrend. Still caught underneath this midpoint. Still caught underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. To me, looks like silver has a date with all-time high anchored VWAP up there. That looks like a measured move to me up there to the pink lines. Let's take a look at gold. Gold in the upper third, so that's going to be bullish. Today's candle is a higher low and a higher high, closed over a bullish trap, over that rising 17. See the green dots? See how they rise up? Those are the 17 EMA right there. So that's a closing over the rising 17. Up here in the upper third, I'll back out so you can see. Okay, so in the lower third, these are the quad lines. The lower third, like below the crosshairs there, that would be bearish. Above the crosshairs here, this would be the upper third. Above the crosshairs, okay, it's going to be bullish. You can see price for GLD. The origin of their rally starts in 2022, and they reach an all-time high at the beginning of the year of 2026. And you can see right now they are in the upper third of the quad lines. So that makes them bullish. They have not made any lower lows. They have a high here. They made a higher high. So therefore they are in an uptrend. So they are bullish and in an uptrend. They have not reached quadrant 4 yet, but they're still in the upper third, still underneath the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, another one that I think has a date with the all-time high anchored VWAP up here. So that's on the daily chart for gold. Let's take a look at USO. USO getting fired up, higher low, higher high, closed over a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. Have they made a higher high? I don't think so. The high there is 130.57. The high to beat was 130.98. So not quite. No cigar yet. Okay, so gotta Again, higher low, higher high over the bullish trap, over the wavy 17. We are in the bottom of quadrant 4. That's going to be bullish, but still in a dysfunctional downtrend. You've heard me say that before. Okay, you can see here's a low. They made a lower low. Since making the lower low, price has melted up or over to the right. Okay, so we have not making lower lows. So that's why I call it a dysfunctional downtrend. So we're bullish because we're in quadrant 4. We're in the upper third, but we have not made higher highs yet, not in a while. So we're still in a downtrend, but it's a dysfunctional downtrend because price is not moving lower. It's moving up and over to the right. So there's USO on the daily chart. Should they take out that high tomorrow, tonight, that will produce an uptrend for the USO, all right, and that will negate the downtrend that they currently are in. Okay, it's just a label. Remember that. Okay, on UNG fell out of bed this morning, and they got a lower high, a lower low. They closed under a bearish cross under the falling 17. Let me zoom out so you can see all of this. Darn near putting in. I hear something. I'm looking for something with a speaker on it. I don't see anything there. Where it's coming from, but I can hear it. Anyways, UNG, lower high, lower low, closed under. You know, it's probably one of these things. Closed under a bearish cross. That's the all-time low right there. And they are challenging the all-time low right there. So again, UNG is bearish and in a downtrend. Wish I knew where that was coming from. Anyways, so that's UNG. Let's take a look at internals. T2101. Losing participation again. Well, we got a higher high, but we also made lower lows, and we spent more time making the lower lows. So I'm going to give that one to the bears again. The markets keep getting thinner and thinner on the participation. T2122. Expecting the bulls to hold on, and they did, just barely. Notice they did not let price pass through the midpoint down into the seller's chop zone down here. So T2123 goes to the bulls. I got to say the bulls were weak today, letting price make a lower high and a lower low. Probably could give this one to the bears because we made lower highs and lower lows. You can see price melting down to the bottom of the chop zone right there. Okay, it's T2122. Let's take a look at T2123. New all-time high for T2123. All right, so that's going to be bullish and in an uptrend. 3-bar chart, bullish and in an uptrend right there. And FNGU, we are. We had a gap up, and the bears filled the gap, and price made a lower high and a lower low. All right, so you can see clearly we had a high up here, so we took out that. So we're in a downtrend. Here's a low here, and we made a lower low right through there. So let me see here. We ripped up over that. It's still. Price still in an uptrend, believe it or not. Okay, still, that's still in an uptrend. Let's see what the low is. 32.11, 32. So it's still in an uptrend, but let me just tell you, it's not moving up. All right, underneath the 200 SMA, not where we like it. Still bull flagging up here. Let's put the quad lines on there, measure this thing off, and I think we're going to be bullish still. We're in the upper third.